Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we're going to be talking about Loki, episode 6. For all times, always, not the best catchphrase. But we're going to have to at least try. Every time I say it is over like 10 minutes, so meh. Try to be very quick about the discussion because I had to unexpectedly dog sit for someone earlier than we had discussed. So, let's see. Going over the main plot, we get introduced. There's a lot of build-up and fanfare to it, with Loki and Sylvie entering the mansion, or citadel as they like to call it, that we see at the end of the last episode into Mystery. Basically, like I said, a lot of fanfare before we get introduced to the one who remains, which is a version of King the Conqueror. I'll just cover this right now while I remember it. They seem to conflate variants, people going off the timeline with, different versions of yourself in different universes. Those aren't quite the same things, at least conceptually. Like, once the sacred timeline is destroyed, there isn't so much variance anymore as there is just, people in different universes. And so I don't know why he refers to himself that way. It's kind of confusing. Anywho, where was I? Yes, get introduced to King the Conqueror. That's just what I'm going to be calling him from now on. And head on up to his office. They try and kill him a few times, but because of the TVA and everything else, he knows everything, or at least as it will be revealed, up to a certain point. So he's able to just easily dodge that thanks to his temp pad, which is this lovely bit of jewelry on his wrist. But, not wrist, palm? Well, back of the hand, whatever that is called. Anywho, he goes over why he's doing everything he's doing. Because, like we suspected, multiversal war that was speared by a different version of Kang himself. It's very complicated because multiverse, but also different timelines, and Kang is known for having multiple variants of himself within the same timeline. And there's also multiple universe versions of him, so that's why it's confusing. They conflate the two. Anywho, massive war. This guy got out on top because he was able to harness Goliath and all the other stuff that was explained to us in the last episode. I don't know why they went over it again, especially when those few extra seconds could have gone somewhere else to help develop some side character stuff, which we'll go over after I talk about the main thing to talk about. It's fluff, but this episode's fluff, but I don't mind it. It's clearly, I like it, but also it's clear this entire season's been affected by, ongoing circumstances. I'm not big enough to be affected by saying it. The pandemic. It really messed with things. And you feel it in this episode, but you also feel like everyone trying their darndest, Everyone's giving it all its quality product. So, still, they fluff it up by going over everything we already know. And, where was I? Oh yes, Kang says he's willing to let these two Lokis run the TVA because, living for eternity at the end of time, it becomes a bit tasking, exhausting, draining, etc. And he just wants to take a bit more of a hands-off approach from that point on. And he makes it quite clear what the other option is: killing him, bringing about chaos that his other versions would bring. Because without him to keep things going, or somebody running the TVA to stop that, it's gonna happen. But when Sylvie tries to, call him out on stuff, he says, yes, the murderer, the killer, we're all the villains here. But the difference is that I'm very frustrated and call out is that they never had a chance to step off the path that he quite clearly points out he laid down in front of them. Because anytime they did, they were a variant and they got pruned and died to Goliath. Sylvie was just a little girl who then had to run for her life. That was her entire existence. She had to kill people who were going to, for all intents and purposes, kill her back. Like, she's not like a clear-cut goody-goody, but that doesn't make her a villain just because she killed to survive from a fascistic organization that seek to wipe her out solely for existing. And like, it would have been great if like Loki had called that out. I think that's more related to like season stuff. I'm gonna give him a season review separate to the episode, so keep it on point. They don't call that out. They just go on with the premise. And Loki is like, hey, maybe we don't stick to this plan because this could hurt a lot of people, which is nice character growth, like through osmosis of, seeing how he died and, interaction with various versions of himself. He's grown as a character, He no longer wants the things he wanted at the beginning of the series, which is nice. There's also other stuff I'll talk about in the series review. It is not important to this episode. But, it's like, how long was I in TVA? Not that long. Like, maybe stuff happened between episodes, but we didn't see that in episodes, so meh. Anyhow, Sylvie is quite determined to kill Kang. And they can't really come to an impasse. They are at an impasse because they can't talk their way out of it, mainly because Sylvie does not want to engage in any conversation on this subject matter at all. And a fight breaks out between the two of them. And it is lovely. Also, Disney Plus sucks at streaming. And some of the most beautiful and emotional shots to focus on just stuttered out and kept playing even though the image was frozen, and then just skipped wherever it was live. And some of them I did quite deliberately have to go back over because they were important to see, to get that visual impression. And one of those is, like, after they have the good back and forth for a while, Loki just teleports in front of her, to block her blade with his body and throw down his own and try and reach out and connect to her. And there's like, accusations of, oh, you just wanted a throne. Yes, I'm evil Loki. This has all been some grand master plan. I can't just be what I want to be. I can't be the hero. I'm the villain. Like, Loki is genuinely betrayed, hurt by that accusation by Sylvie, and I can't tell if Kang's just crazy, if this is what he wants, but he's like prodding Sylvie, can you trust him? And Loki can trust Sylvie, but she's unwilling to trust Loki. And we get this lovely emotional kissing between the two of them to just stab you in the back, as she uses the jewelry temp pad to throw Loki back into the TVA, which other stuff we'll get into briefly. This will be a lot shorter. TVA, and then, finishes off Kang. Throwing the desk aside with magic. I would have actually liked it if she just, reached to the side of him and did it. Because, again, Asgardians are a lot stronger than humans. Thor is way stronger than your average Asgardian, but Loki does not have basic human strength, and I'll say it here as well, compared to the series, I wish they would better utilize, in Season 2, which gets confirmed in an end credit scene, better utilize his power set, fully realize it, and exploit it, and take advantage of it. It feels like, by nature of him starting off in the TVA and kind of running around Apocalypse, from them on, they just don't utilize it to the fullest. There's so much creative stuff you can do with his abilities, or even just, above average strength in a humanoid that Loki should possess. You can do so many creative things, and the season just hasn't. And I don't know how I feel about that, but I'll go into more details about why in the series review. And yeah, Kang dead. We get that season 2 thing after the, hook at the very end of the series. Well, season, I should say. Yeah. But first, what did I not cover early on? Well, there's only a few other characters running about right now. Hunter B-15 gets broken out by Mobius, which, quite frankly, we could have cut that Elias scene and shown that happening. Just like, oh, come into the elevator. Cut to Mobius, talking with B-15 and breaking out the cell, then come back to in the elevator. Whereas in the show, it's pretty like out of elevator, in elevator. That would have been a perfect time to put that scene in. Anywho, she breaks out. They figure out, which again, the Judge Linkstrom, I want to say, probably not the right name. They figure out one of the items she's holding on to is from when she became a variant, because she seems to be one of the few people who actually remember it. And B-15 goes there, lures some of the other guards there to find her, and also Judge Linkstrom, but not a variant, which allows her to go into the details of why everything's happened, and the variant as well, burn the place to the ground, so on and so forth. But then Mobius goes to confront Linkstrom, or whatever her name is. I'm probably getting it wrong, but still. Like, she's the bad guy, but she gets to leave on a confident note after, like, her position of power has crumbled from her. Like, realistically, I believe Owen Wilson would have generally lost the fight to that actress in real life, but, like, it would have been nicer if it felt more like a retreat. Like, she was running away, as opposed to, like, the strong exit she did get. Because, again, bad guy. She is the bad guy in this series, who was like happy with childhood. Like, just have her run away after being cornered, stall for time, like, Loki and Sylvie would have, talk a way out of it, and then, like, use a failsafe that she had planned beforehand, or just, temp pad out of there. Instead of, like, Owen Wilson, Mobius, trying to prune her and getting easily disarmed, which ain't great. We didn't get to see much of Mobius in action, unfortunately, due to, like, pandemic, reduced episode amount, well, possibly, like, we weren't getting to see as much of him. Like, it's not even a surprise that it happened. He didn't have any action scene before that, so it kind of figures it would go that way in any fight he'd get into. So yeah. And yet she just kind of strolls off and says she's going off in search of a free choice. What's its purpose? I forget the exact phrasing, but you get self-determination. She realizes everything's a lie, she can't be in charge of it anymore, and she's bailing. But again, I think I said this a little bit earlier. Moving away from her comic book origins, which I don't know. I feel at that stage, if you're going to make this character so radically different, why not just make a new character? Just why not do that? Good. Oh god, I hope that's not taken out of context. I can't even remember if she's, like, race swapped or not. But again, my standpoint on that, obscure enough character, by all means go for it. It could actually do wonders to revitalize a character. Like, Nick Fury, originally white, and I learned that on like a YouTube video. No idea before that. So yeah, I just feel the need to cover that so no one accidentally takes it as a dog whistle and I get certain kinds in my audience. Anywho. Yeah, like I said, I like the series overall, and it really helps me get into the final episode, but between just stalling for something to say, as well as, going on little rants, so much of this was dedicated to talking about Loki, Selfie, and Kang, and I've briefly gone over the 3 other characters in this show of note that are still alive, I should say. Where was I? 3 other characters of note that exist, and that is like infinitely shorter than them. And part of me going over them was saying, we really could have used another scene in this episode, and there was a good place to insert it. Like, so little happens. But anywho, Kang was right. Other versions of him are now popping up across the multiverse, and one seems to be in charge of the TVA now. Like, directly. Which honestly isn't the biggest change, but hey, it's a season cliffhanger. Mobius and B-15 don't seem to remember Loki. He remembers them. Who knows what's gonna happen? Can he use magic there now? Who knows? Who knows? Nevertheless. Yeah, that's actually it. Yeah, that's disjointed, you know? Again, I like Tom Hiddleston. I like, oh god, I'm struggling to remember the name. The actress who plays Sylvie, Owen Wilson. I like the whole vibe this show is going for. It's weak, but like it's not so bad. Not rephrasing that, it's like I'm trying to make excuses for it. Maybe it's not the best finale it could be, but at the same time, it's neither horrible to terrible or even bad. It is still good. It just feels like this would be an episode cliffhanger as opposed to the season finale, but nevertheless, it's still a good episode if it's not a great finale. But yeah, season 2, I'm gonna watch it. I'm super hyped for it. I hope, well, no, that gets into my thoughts of the season overall, as opposed to just this episode. So, yeah. God, I rambled my way into like the 20-minute range. Hoo-ha. Anywho, real quick, as I like to get these out, relatively quick compared to other videos. I know it's going to be coming out before the weekend. I'm also like to stream as a furry VTuber. Sod Passion Gaming on YouTube and Twitch. Multi-stream for now because I'm still small and trying to figure out where I can build in my audience. Anywho, Friday, Control. Be playing that, having fun. Saturday, we'll be playing Blossom Tales: The Sleeping King. Finally finishing that game off. I don't know why I said finally. It's just the 4th week doing it. Quick game, a lot of fun. Among Us stream just after midnight on Sunday for me. Very late, but like, you like getting into them. Anywho. And on Sunday proper, the normal time. Oh god, I'm blinking. Psychonauts, we should be finishing that as well. Lot of finales this weekend. Anywho, that is everything, so... Thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a wonderful time. Be sure to like, comment, share the video about the place, and to subscribe. And also, if you're feeling exceptionally generous, take a look at my Patreon. Thank you very much for your time. Ta-ta, auf Wiedersehen, until we meet again.